Hey,
Hey, Miss Deb, how are you?
doing good. How are you? I'm surviving pollen season in the South.
You have pollen season in the South?
Oh, yeah.
Really? What
I
kind of
think
pollen?
all kind of pollen, all kind of green. It has been horrendous. My doctor said that they have never seen anything like it, that there are patients coming in suffering from, allergy related symptoms and being sick, and they've never had allergies their entire life. So that's just part of living in the South. There's a lot of vegetation, and this pollen season has been incredible. I mean, it's been awful. And, my doctor called a prescription in nose spray for me, and it really helped. But when I went and got it filled at the pharmacy, my pharmacist said, "Oh, this is gold." Said everybody's coming in suffering. Everybody's talking about. You see more people wearing masks if they go outside walking than you did during COVID. So
Because
that's how
of
bad
pollen.
it is.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
did it rain a lot this winter for you guys?
Did it rain?
Yeah.
I don't think we had any snow, or we had some cold spells, but uh, for the past month, you could come to Georgia if you want to experience all four seasons in a 24-hour period. Come to Georgia. That's the way it's been. I mean, you during the daytime, you run your AC. At night, you turn the heater on a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of settling down, so we'll see.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, it's
Yeah.
crazy here. We get 2 days. We're lucky if we get 2 days of sun. So on Monday it was 71 and sunny, and today it's 54 and cloudy.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
20 degree drops. There was a thunderstorm at 5 o'clock this morning. This morning, I'm like, wow.
Yep.
Planes go over my house. They've changed their route, and I'm like, wow, this guy's really low, and it's not. It's thunder. It was so loud, and then boom, the temperature dropped.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then if you look at the middle of the country, if you look, the path of those tornadoes and those storms go straight up. Usually, it's like a pocket here, a pocket there, and it might kind of go in sort of a pattern, but not a huge like swath right down the middle. Really makes you wonder what's going on.
Makes you wonder what the folks at Harp are doing.
Oh, Miss Deb said that out loud. I love it.
Yeah.
So what the heck is going on in Georgia? Where's Miss Fammy Willis? What are they doing with her? They lock her up?
No, she's been really quiet. I think they've been paying attention to what's going on at the Supreme Court. And Clarence Thomas today or yesterday, he asked Trump's attorney, "Hey, have you challenged the fact that that Jack Smith doesn't have jurisdiction or something like that?" We know, we could tell by the arguments what the Supreme Court's going to rule. Fannie's just sitting back being quiet. And because what the Supreme Court rules, even though it's a state case, Ed Meese did a amicus brief in the case that's before the Supreme Court now. Mm-hmm. And one of the people that Fannie indicted has filed a federal lawsuit. And I think it was in November, October, or maybe December. Meese filed saying the lawsuit said that Fannie did not have jurisdiction, and Ed Meese actually filed an amicus brief in that case. So he's the former AG, and he should know. So we'll see what's going to happen. We have the Georgia Republican Party. We have our primary elections May 21st.
Oh, wow. You guys are.
And so under Georgia law, for the primaries, the political parties can have ballot questions. They're right at the end of where you vote, and it asks questions for voters. It's non-binding, mm-hmm. but it will let elected officials, particularly legislators, know where Republican voters stand.
So it's kind of like a poll, but on the official ballot, so that it actually gets counted properly.
Yes, well, maybe. Yeah, maybe it is counted, but and it asked about, do you think that moving forward Georgia elections should use hand-marked paper ballots? And it goes through a whole litany: hand-marked paper ballots and counted by hand and all that. And what's interesting is Georgia Republican Party Chair Josh McCoon. He is a super guy. And years ago, when we had a Speaker of the House, the grassroots wanted to put a limit on lobbyist gifts. Mm-hmm. Speaker Ralston, Josh McCoon was then in the Senate. Speaker Ralston, no, there's no way it will ever pass. So we did a ballot question on the primary ballot. It won overwhelmingly. The very next legislative session, legislators were falling all over themselves, introducing legislation to put a limit on lobbyist gifts, including the House. The House version was much stronger than the Senate version. So elected officials pay attention to these ballot questions. You should check and see if you guys have that.
So this is for the actual primary. So for the congressmen and senators.
Well, yes, the primary.
We
have our primary that's got local elected officials on it. Legislators are running. So people will vote on it. And I think there's going to be some folks that will vote just to vote on the ballot questions that they actually have on the ballot. And who knows, but what's really a real save the date, on May 7th, the Georgia State Election Board is having a meeting.
Okay.
And they're going to vote on multiple things. Everybody's heard about, in Georgia, Joe Rossi and the Rossi report, where he found all these abnormalities and illegal things went on and missing ballots and all kind of stuff.
Fake votes reported in multiples of 4,800. 6,000 in PA, which doesn't apply to you, but analysis shows obvious fraud by computer. And again, Georgia and Pennsylvania, but Georgia, they just go on and on and on. Right. Millions of ballots. I mean, it's a huge. Well,
and this is what's interesting. They posted their agenda. And Kevin Moncla, he also has something where the absentee ballot fraud, which was in Fulton. And when they released the agenda of the meeting, they actually show there's certain cases they're going to vote on to refer to the AG, Attorney General, and Joe Rossi's. His report was part of that to be referred to Chris Carr. Good luck with that. He'll sit on it. Refer to the AG. And also this other one about absentee ballot fraud is being referred to the AG. So a lot of us are sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting. We're on pins and needles. We can't wait till the election board has their meeting on the 7th. Also on the 7th, there was some election integrity legislation that Governor Kemp has not signed. And, he has until May 7th. And word is, I actually talked to one of the plaintiffs from Curling v. Raffensperger in that hearing, and they all feel that Judge Totenberg is waiting to see if Governor Kemp signs the election integrity legislation before she issues her ruling, which if he's delayed this long, I think he will probably veto it and not sign it. But word is she's going to come down pretty hard. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Well,
She'll come down pretty hard on Georgia, and they'll owe. Rumor is that. Sorry, Paula. Rumor is that it's going to cost Georgia $30 million to pay the plaintiff's attorney fees if Totenberg rules in their favor.
Wow. It's amazing how we have these states that are really zeroing in on this, and we've got people and legislators that are really pushing for this. But then you hear in the news, and it went in my head and out again, but they were talking about how they're going to start arresting people that have been pushing the voter fraud, garbage, the BS. And it's like, but you're looking at these reports. We talked to you, we talked to Will in, Colorado, Carrie Lake's in Arizona, and you've got all these pockets of people here in New Hampshire, and the proof is absolutely overwhelming. But yet they turn around and go, no, there's no proof, there's no this, there's no that, and we're going to arrest this one, and we're going to arrest that one. Look at what they're doing to Trump. And it's like they just can't not lie. And it's really getting exhausting. We've been on tenterhooks since 2020. When are we gonna figure this out? When is this gonna get straightened out? When are we the people gonna get justice served in these cases? And these courts and these judges are delaying. It's almost like they want to wait past November before they make any decisions. It's sickening.
It's insane. And by the way, Fannie Willis has Republican competition for DA that will be on the November ballot. Courtney Kramer.
She didn't show up.
Yep. She is huge. It's a long shot. She knows it because Fulton is safe blue, but you just don't know what's going to happen. Courtney's been able to raise money. Republicans have coalesced behind her, but her name is Courtney Kramer, and she has definitely challenged Fannie Willis. I call her Diva Fannie because that's what she is. She's a diva. She thinks she is.
Oh, the way that she behaves and gesticulates and has her drama llamas in court was disgusting.
She's not too big of a diva. She has to pay her boyfriend to be her boyfriend.
Yeah, I know. And where'd those millions come? Millions that she's got hanging around from her little old salary. It's not little old to us, but comparatively speaking to the millions. But she didn't show up to that debate. I think our Republican gal there should be like going all around and putting a chair down and doing, I forget who did that. It was Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood did that at the 2012 Republican National Convention. I was actually there. It was in Tampa, and there was a big round of applause when he put that chair there.
I think she should do that. You should get hold of her and tell her that at every one of her town hall meetings, whatever you call them down there, she should put the empty chair, and she should just look at it and do a little 5-minute vignette there.
Put Fannie Willis. Put a name tag on the chair.
No. She needs to put stuff a dress with the zipper in the front.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty neat. To do that.
I think that would be great. And then I think the other thing, if she isn't talking about it, is she needs to slam down on Fannie because how disgusting that prison is that she's in charge of, that Trump went into and said it was disgusting with cockroaches and everything. She should slam her on that one too. She should bring on a bucket and a mop and be like, this is what you should be doing, Fannie.
Well, it's actually that jail is under jurisdiction of the sheriff, and what Fannie should be doing is open an investigation into the inhumane conditions at Fulton County Jail. Last year, they actually had a prisoner that was eaten and killed by bed bugs. And that's no joke. Overwent all over him. And it was, I mean, that prison, that jail is despicable. Why hasn't she opened an investigation into it? Now, I think it's pretty clear that the Fulton County Commission has gotten a little bit fed up with Bonnie because they amended their ethics complaint, who you can file ethics complaints against. And they just amended it like probably 10 days ago to include the DA's office. You can file an ethics complaint against the DA's office. So I imagine she's being quiet about that because even some of her fellow Democrats have had enough.
Well, some of the people she works in her office, those couple of whistleblowers that were sick and tired of her. It's
and Jim Jordan's going after her too. Jim Jordan's going after her.
And he should.
And Governor Kemp signed a little bit of a change to the law that allows legislators, allows prosecutors, district attorneys, allows them to be removed. And Governor Kemp, the court said, well, we're not sure, it was ambiguous, the original law. They corrected it. Kudos to the legislature, this legislative session. They corrected it, and Governor Kemp signed it into law last week. So I imagine Fannie's facing it from all angles. And she's desperately trying to hang on to her little diva status and
her kingdom of millions,
right?
And her luxurious vacations. It's just out. It's unbelievable, and these legislators just think that they're untouchable. They think that we should all be bowing down to them, and there needs to be some corrections. So I'm glad that they're laying out here in New Hampshire. Last week they had House Bill 1579, I think it was. I could be wrong, but it was about mail-in. Same day voting and the affidavits. So they have affidavits that they sign, and it's like, well, that's ridiculous because all it's saying is, yep, I verify I'm me. As you're standing there, yep, I'm me.
That's crazy.
Yep, this is my address, and I don't have my license, and I don't have any ID, and I didn't bring my passport, and I'm a loser. So, and I didn't bring an electric bill, but I'm going to sign here that I'm telling the truth and I am me.
That's crazy. And I saw where your governor, what is he up to? He endorsed Trump.
All of a sudden, well, I endorse Trump. That's who we need. So did Kelly Ayotte. Kelly Ayotte, last minute in 2016, she was all for Trump. And the next thing she knows, at the midnight hour, she dumped him, and she hasn't said a decent thing about him. And she's a Republican.
Right.
Rhino. And then she just a couple of weeks ago, now she's supporting, he's the right person for the office. Really?
I'm glad they're doing it. Now, I could see Governor DeSantis, I could see him supporting Trump, but I was surprised about Chris Sununu.
Well, he's going to be out. I mean, he's not running. So it's what's it going to do to him? He's not running. He's not running for Senate. Maybe
he'll have his hand out for a job in the Trump administration.
He might. Well, his Sununu Center is being investigated, so we'll see.
Oh, wow, there goes that.
There goes that pipe dream. Kelly Ayotte and Chuck Morse, and Kelly ran in 2010, and she became senator, went to Washington, D.C., didn't hear much about her. I think she fought somewhat for the military, but nothing, really stands out. So she came back last week, and she was talking about, how the police have been defunded and how she's never going to let this state become a sanctuary state.
Oh, wow.
When did that ever come up? and kind of talking all around. And she kept saying, the Constitution, the Constitution, the Constitution. So, she took questions. So pick me, pick me, pick me.
Wow.
Had my hands up. And so my friend who runs the meeting, she's like, okay, Jocelyn, now come up here. And I'm like, oh God, I want to come up here. So I go up there and I'm like, everybody talks about, we shouldn't defund the police and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, my husband's a police officer at 34 years and I was 911 for 12 years. My son's in the Marines and blah, 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 blah. My other son, was a medic. And oh, well, thank you for your service. I said, that's not why I said it. I said, I'm kind of done with that. Thank you for your service shit. Like that just kind of erases everything. I said, when there's 4 members of my family, immediate family that serve daily. And I said, what have you done lately about funding the police? Where's your plan for funding the police? Because all I hear from you people is, well, they defunded. Well, they. Well, where's your plan to fund it? I don't hear that. So I called her on that. I was nice. I'm more agitated now. I really was very nice. And I went on to choose. I said, and what Constitution are you talking about? And she said, what Constitution are you talking about? There's a state constitution and there's a federal constitution. She's the former attorney general. So I said to her, you're elected. We elect you. We elect these people. I said, to protect and represent us and our unalienable rights. And I said, in the state constitution, make sure that our unalienable rights are protected. I said, and anything you, the state people, and the federal government do is between the two of you. It has nothing to do with us. I said, so what took her a while to get around to it, but she was not used to being, and I have simple questions. I'm not a brilliant person, but I know what I know. And I'm telling you, these people don't know what they're talking about. It's sad.
It is, but my hero of the week is, and it's everybody's in Georgia's hero of the week. I don't know if you saw the video. There were some of these little spoiled, out of touch college students and professional agitators that took over Emory, and they made their little encampment, and the Governor Kemp has already said they do that, they're leaving. And he got it was a state trooper, came in, one of the little weasels, college students, didn't want to go, fell on the ground. So this state trooper picked him up and he was screaming. And he went here and took him where he wanted to go. The rest of them obeyed then. And there were all kind of little memes and things like that saying maybe the Atlanta Falcons should draft him.
My God, the way he picked him up, he just picked him up like he just hooked his arm around there. I swear to God, he's a drill sergeant, that guy.
He has to be. He's a hero. And the guy was screaming and whining like a baby. I thought it was a woman at first.
So did I.
This is what you have to do, the police have to do to deal with these professional violent criminals.
I want to know
how they are. Start tear gassing them. Get out the tear gas.
How many of them are, over 23? How many of them are midlife crisis old men and women? And I'm just saying old because they're in a college. How many of them are paid? Half, if
probably
not
all of them are paid. All of them are paid.
75% of the students have no idea why they're there.
I agree. No, they're there to wreak havoc and things, and they're being paid likely by George Soros,
etc.
And they've got these little green tents that's furnished by a Palestinian support group.
Yep. And the other thing is, so they got the masks and they got the headscarves on, all of them. So you want First Amendment rights, but you're covering your face and not showing your identity.
First Amendment rights does not allow you to become violent and disruptive, because when you do that, you're depriving others of their First Amendment rights.
Correct. And it's not supposed to interfere or infringe on them.
Right.
The other thing is, so today I noticed, I was telling Will and Chris in the back room there, I was like, I've noticed on the news today that for the morning they were, it was just campus after campus after campus. And you just want to scream, that's our tax money there. We're funding this. We're putting up with this BS. And then come around noon lunchtime, the news stations were flashing this story of Biden and paying off their college loans. And all of a sudden it went from billions to 1.4 trillion with a T. And so there's this clip and they put this chart up and I'm looking at it and I'm going, and then they'd show the college stuff and I'm like, are they finally trying to put two and two together and make four on the media news? That we've got these kids that their parents are taking out loans from the government that are now being paid off by my tax dollars,
right,
so they can go beat up and destroy property that we're paying for. And then I'm being told, after they call these people horrible names, they destroy, they say they hate America. I say, round them up, take them over there and say, it's your turn to fight. That's what I say.
I think they should be treated like J6 prisoners are being treated.
Agree. I agree. Destruction.
It's an insurrection. It's an insurrection. Mm-hmm. Treat them the same way.
The other thing I believe is, in looking, and I'd done a story about this a couple of years ago, but these colleges are getting billions of dollars from foreign countries.
Yep.
And, as donations, as scholarships, plus they're getting millions and billions from, big pharma and big, companies here, Soros, et cetera. So they have got savings accounts that are billions and billions and billions of dollars. They don't give them as scholarships. They don't help any of the students out. I don't think they pay salaries with them. They just, do fancy trips and build these big buildings. I think that, I know this administration won't, but I think that no college should be allowed to have that kind of money. They should not be able to have it from a foreign government. They, any kid that wants to come here and the parents aren't paying cash, they should have to take a loan through the government and pay it back to our government. None of this cash under the table stuff. And they should not have billions of dollars that they can money launder any way they want and then allow their students to hate America, to back a foreign country?
It's ridiculous, and it shows how, we have to elect Donald Trump. We've got to save our country, because it's going to be gone if Donald Trump is not elected. Because look at the path the Democrats are taking us on.
Yep. Well, I do think there was a couple of Democrats, 20 or 30 today, that went after Binky Biden there. So they are pushing back a little bit, but you know what? It's really late. We're looking at, I did the food prices earlier. I was showing, in England and Russia.
I saw that.
It's insane. It's like, how is this happening? Why are foreigners buying up our farmland? Why are foreigners and big, like BlackRock and those guys, why are they buying up all single family houses? Well, we'd all go bankrupt if we didn't. They need to stop this. No one from a foreign country or of a foreign citizenship should own any land here. We can't buy land in Mexico.
I agree. 100% agree. And let's hope Donald Trump goes in like a bull in the china shop and he corrects all this crap.
Well, I think, he knew all of this, but his hands were tied those first 4 years. I mean, how many courts was he, not physically like now, but courts, was he dragged into about the wall? The wall was tied up for what, 2 years?
Well, it's not, but let's look at the rest of it too. It wasn't just the lawsuits and the Democrats. He was having to fight Paul Ryan and other Republicans and the Karl Rove and the Bush cabal in the Republican Party. He was having to fight all of them. Correct. It wasn't just the Democrats.
Right. He was attacked on all fronts.
Right.
Wow. Well, as usual, you just bring so much information to us. And now, when is your election? Because I want you to come on and tell us what happened.
May 21st.
May 21st.
It's when Georgia's primary is May 21st.
Okay, so we'll need to check in then and find out.
Check in with me after if the state election board does anything that we've been hoping they will do, or if we hear anything from Judge Totenberg, I will send you a text and let you know.
Perfect. And I'll let you know our federal case, Wayne and mine, we just moved our appeal to the Court of Appeals in Boston.
Good.
Now, because in New Hampshire, we're just getting stonewalled, and also, they're doing it in a lot of cases everywhere. These judges are saying you have no standing, you have no standing, you have no standing. Because if they say that, then they don't have jurisdiction, so they don't have to do anything. So again, delay, not deciding tactics. That's your game. Well, we've moved on to the appeal. So as soon as we find out where we are with that, I think we have 10 more days to file, and then we'll be filing with them and we'll see what they say.
Great. It's always been a pleasure to be on your show. I love you, gal.
Love you too. Take care of those allergies. See you soon.
I will. Bye.
Bye.